Hey guys, welcome to JoJo's Cider Reviews and More. I'm JoJo. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing a classic ice lager, a classic that started in the 90s, Bud Ice. And so this is 5.5% alcohol by volume. Make sure you guys got a good shot there. I don't know if I... Okay. So this was, first brewed during the height of the ice beer wars, you could say. And the ice beer wars started in the 1990s with Labatt Ice as the first patent ice beer, followed by, I believe it was Molson Ice after that. And in case, I've mentioned this before, I reviewed Labatt Ice last week. Ice beer is a style that has undergone some degree of fractional freezing during productions. The brands generally have a higher alcohol content. And the process of icing a beer involves lowering the temperature of a batch until the ice crystals form. Since ethanol has a much lower freezing point than water, when the ice is removed, the alcohol concentration of the beer increases. So 5.5%, whereas Budweiser, I believe, is 5%. And I remember as a kid throughout the 90s, they had a mascot. It was the penguin. And the commercials, the penguin would always try to steal. He was like a killer penguin. He would try to steal all the Bud Ices from people. He would sing "Doobie Doobie Doo," and people would be all freaked out. And I think the slogan was "Drink Bud Ice, but beware the penguin." So I just always remember those. It was at the height of the Pittsburgh Penguins domination in the '90s for the NHL. They won, I think it was 2 Stanley Cups back to back. So there's a commercial where, Bud Ice, what was it? It was involving the Stanley Cup that, I think the Penguins stole the Stanley Cup. Anyways, they had some funny commercials about Bud Ice. And I really like it. I got a 30-pack a while back, I think back in around August. This is my last one. I wanted to review it for you guys. So let's get right into it. And I think the first ice beer, like I said, Labatt Ice was the first, followed by Molson Ice. I think the first American ice beer was Ice House. Don't quote me on it, but I think this Ice House was made before Bud Ice. Anyways, let's get into the reviews. Going for the pour. All right. Tons of bubbles streaming up to the surface. Just looks crisp by the appearance. Kind of like it's yellow, but kind of almost like a dark yellow, a little bit of orange. You can see right through the glass. Decent head there, a little over a finger, and yeah, so looks like a good beer though. Let's go in for the aroma. Yeah, so right off the bat, I've noticed with these ice beers, you get that kind of has an extra oomph in the aroma. It smells like, it's hard to describe, like a cold smell. If you open up a freezer, or think of like if you're having a popsicle or something, and the ice kind of freezes on top. Kind of smells like, just if that makes any sense, like almost like a hop bite. It's weird. It's hard to describe it. It smells like it's just cold. Kind of like when you're going outside in the middle of the winter, and we live in New England. It gets pretty cold. You get that kind of, I don't know, really cold wind that hits you. To kind of just smells, that kind of thing. It smells like it's freezing. Head's pretty much gone right now. So without further ado, Bud Ice. Salute, guys. Crisp, clean, does have that extra oomph that Budweiser does not have. Has kind of a sweetness too, but has that classic ice beer taste. That kind of like I said, you think of it like you're almost like you're eating an ice cube type thing. It's hard to describe, but not really a freezer burn, but like eating like snow or something. It's hard to describe, but it is, if you have an ice beer, you know what I'm talking about. But it's malty. Has a good flavor, really. I mean, it's very smooth. think it has a little bit more of a body than like a Bud Light would. You know, it is. I would still say the mouthfeel is light, but it's not like at the low spectrum of light. It's kind of a little bit like a notch above that, if that makes sense. A little more body than it kind of reminds me of like a kind of like like a Budweiser, but I don't know. It might be even a little bit more mouthfeel than a Budweiser. So good mouthfeel. It's sessionable. Like it has more alcohol than a Budweiser, but a 5.5. You can have a few. It's not gonna bother you too much. But dry finish, crisp, clean. That's good. Saying this in my previous review about Busch, and I'm getting it too with Bud Ice, and also Budweiser is kind of known, I think, as has kind of a sweetness to it. This kind of does too. I don't know if this is like an Anheuser-Busch type of recipe they always use, but I'm getting a sweetness that I would get in the Budweiser, that I would get in the Busch Heavy, and I'm getting now with the Bud Ice. But it's a solid ice beer though, for what it is, judging within the style. One more sip here. Very crisp, look at that. Good looking beer. Decent amount of lacing too, to be honest with you. Go with an 87. This is a B+. I think, what did I score Labatt? I think I scored Labatt an 85. I'm enjoying this a little bit more than Labatt Ice. Again, tough to, you got to do side by side, but Labatt Ice had kind of like more of a, I don't know, like a grassy taste. Not necessarily, it wasn't bad at all, but I don't know, I'm just like digging this flavor a little bit more. It tastes a little bit smoother, a little bit sweeter. Like I said, it has a decent mouthfeel as well. So that's Bud Ice. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be reviewing a couple more macro beers over the weekend, and ice beers in the future. The Total Wine right next to where I live has Molson Ice, so eventually I want to review Molson Ice. And Keystone Ice. Keystone Ice is kind of hard to find around here, but I like to get that as well. And of course the elusive Old Milwaukee Ice, which is very tough to find. We can get Old Milwaukee a little bit in New Hampshire, but I've never seen Old Milwaukee Ice around this area. So I like to try a lot of the ice beers if I can, try all of them if I can. Genesee Ice I also have available around here, so looking forward to doing those reviews, so stay tuned for that, guys, and thank you always for watching. Feel free to like content, leave a comment. Next time, guys, salute.